Deal is the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. Batman, the dark and gritty superhero, the serious psychological exploration of fear. Every once in a while, we finally get the dark and gritty Batman movie we deserve as a society.
What are you? I'm Batman.
No, that's not gritty enough. We need a more serious and even grittier Batman movie. Where are you?
Here.
No, we need a movie grittier than that.
Do you bleed? You will.
Grittier!
When that light hits the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning. I'm vengeance.
The more up its own ass with seriousness that Batman gets, the more we need to step back and remember that Batman is an inherently silly concept.
Bat signal, for listeners who might not know, refers to the children's character, the Batman, a strong gentleman who fights crime nocturnally.
That's correct. Well put.
Even some of those serious Batmen need to point out the silliness just to make themselves feel better about engaging in it.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
And look, I'm not saying that the gritty takes on Batman are bad or wrong. I'm just saying that I really enjoy takes on Batman that embrace the silliness inherent. So for this list, I'm going to talk about my 6 favorite comedic versions of the Caped Crusader. Some of these are official Batman projects that happen to take a more comedic tone. Others are unauthorized parodies, but for this list, they're all Batman. I'm not including any original characters who are parodies of Batman, no matter how direct of parodies they are. To make this list, they can be authorized or not, but the characters have to be named Batman. And I'm not including anything where other characters just dress up as Batman, no matter how much I love quite a few of them, and no matter how much one of them claims to count.
Abed is Batman now. Christian Bale.
So without further ado, quick to the Bat list! Number 6, Pete Holmes in Batman. Ah, the Batman saga. It all started when Pete Holmes and Matt McCarthy starred in a College Humor sketch spoofing a specific moment from The Dark Knight.
Harvey Dent. Can he be trusted?
Well, he seems to be about the best that we've been... What was that? What, are you sneaking away?
No.
Is this your little vanishing routine?
What?
Is this the part where I turn and then I turn back and all of a sudden you're gone?
No.
Everybody's impressed?
Harvey Dent. Can he be trusted?
Well, he seems to be about the best that we've got.
Harvey Dent.
The idea was pretty simple. Recreate the dead, serious aesthetics of the Nolan film, and then throw a splash of cold water on the proceedings as Batman struggles to keep up appearances.
Batman?
I found something.
You found some?
I found some.
You found something?
Evidence.
You found some evidence.
I found
You
evidence.
found some evidence over there.
Here.
Okay.
Someone left some evidence.
We would have never found that evidence without you.
The sketch was such a hit that College Humor expanded it into a whole series called Batman, spoofing other scenes from the Nolan trilogy and even doing scenes with characters not found in the trilogy that nevertheless recreate its aesthetics.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Riddler. No.
If you aim to give us a shot, we'll riddle you. What are we?
Here's a stumper.
It's always risky when you expand a one-off sketch into a recurring feature, and you'd think this concept would get old before too long. You would think.
You wanted me. Here I am.
I didn't want you. I don't even know who you are.
Where's Dent?
I don't know who Dent is. I think you broke my balloon tying hand.
You're garbage who kills for money.
No, I'm Wiggles. Garbage is a different clown that works the East End of...
Like, the central joke just boils down to Batman is bad at being Batman, and yet it just keeps working.
So you thought that we could be decent.
Harvey, thank God you're here. Two-Face took Gordon's boy hostage. Two-Face, you're back.
What are you talking about?
Every installment features Holmes as Batman, McCarthy as Batman's foil, usually Commissioner Gordon, but occasionally he plays other characters as well, and sometimes Allison Becker shows up, and occasionally there are even other guest stars.
Come on, man, I got kids to feed.
Oh, they don't like falafel?
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Thank you, that solves most of my problems.
Your stupid rule will be your downfall. You know that, right, Batman?
Wow, if I had a nickel for every time
Someone showed up on Batman and ended up showing up in the Eternals, too.
I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
The series commits to the baseline formula of taking a scene either directly from the Nolan trilogy or heavily evocative of it, and everything is all serious until Batman says or does something ridiculous, and McCarthy and the other foils react incredulously.
A hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple as putting a coat on a young boy's shoulders. I may or may not have been that boy.
Oh, really?
A boy who, I don't know, maybe had just had his parents murdered,
Right.
making me...
Oh my God, you're Bruce Wayne. You know there's a bomb that's gonna go off.
But despite such a clear and strong formula, they managed to keep it fresh by changing up the types of ridiculous Batman is. Sometimes he's still figuring out his image.
Where are the other drugs going?
Why are you talking like that?
It's a bat voice. It's a bat.
Really kind of goes against the whole dark Batman thing.
Are you kidding me? I worked on that like all day. I was like bat, sonar, high, squeaky.
It's not scary, it's silly.
Sometimes he's incredibly distracted.
Talia, Al Ghul, here to finish my father's work.
But we totally had sex.
Yes, I know.
No, like, hardcore. 3 times.
It was all a cruel ploy to gain your confidence.
That was a cruel ploy. Sign me up for another.
Sometimes his reactions are just inexplicable to his foes.
Roomba!
You jump off of buildings and you fight criminals and you're scared of Roombas?
How does it know where to go if we don't push it?
Wow.
And sometimes he's just completely clueless.
It takes a little more than wearing a hat and/or glasses to fool people.
Really?
Check this out. Watch. Uh-oh. I'm someone else. Are you fooled? I'm not Commissioner Gordon. He's gone.
Who are you? Where's Commissioner Gordon? Oh, you're back. Commissioner, there was someone else.
Despite being a very specific parody of a very specific Batman iteration, Holmes's version of Batman feels distinct. There were hundreds of Dark Knight parodies at the height of the trilogy's success, but this one stood out amongst the others.
One last question. What? Harvey dead.
Oh, my face.
Can we trust him?
No, we can't trust him because he's Two-Face and he's dead and you killed him and Bane told everyone just leave!
Fine.
Holmes is barely exaggerating Christian Bale's Batman voice at all, but it feels like a fully distinct character. The breathiness present in Bale's performance gets recontextualized to an overwhelming confusion at the world around him.
Full disclosure, it's kind of been a crazy day. And, this suit's really hot. I kind of go in and out.
This is the guy that beat the Joker.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it.
And unlike other Batman comedies, which might go bright and colorful and comic book-like with their aesthetic, here the commitment to the Nolan aesthetic down to every last visual detail really makes the absurdity pop.
Hi, Rachel, Commissioner Gordon. I was just water skiing from a hovercraft, you know, doing reckless billionaire type stuff like I do.
Still have your eye makeup on.
No, I was a hit in the face. These are black eyes. I've been fighting crime. No, not that.
While other Batman parodies often poke fun at the absurdity of Batman by exaggerating the silly aspects intrinsic to the concept of Batman, this generates its own absurdity by exaggerating the self-serious aspects of Nolan's take, and then bringing in its own silliness for a wonderful juxtaposition.
Stay awake, Christopher McDonald.
Hey, Batman, how you doing?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Goose McKenzie, you keep your distance.
Goose McKenzie, that going way back. You know, most people know me as Shooter McGavin, but Thanks for knowing my work.
I think that's part of what sets it apart from so many other Batman parodies. It's not just doing the normal Batman jokes we all do, it's completely unexpected jokes that just happen to be applied to Batman.
Batman, you have to know what... I mean, your parents were shot and killed.
My parents were shot, yes, but they're alive. On a special farm.
Oh boy, they were on a farm.
They're on a special happy farm where they make buttermilk. They romp and play. There's a hammock made of dreams.
Wow.
This truly was a Batman parody with a voice all its own. I mean a comedic voice, not the Christian Bale voice. You know what I mean. Number 5. Joe Walker in Holy Musical Batman. Oh, that's right. We're talking about Star Kid, the comedy musical theater troupe whose stage parodies of pop culture became consistent smash hits on YouTube and launched Darren Criss' entire career.
Did you direct Black Swan?
After 2 Harry Potter musicals, a loose Starship Troopers homage, and a musical about a singing penis, the team set their sights on Batman. If Superman and Spider-Man can get authorized musicals, why not a parody musical for the Bat?
Batman strikes again, once more battling his arch nemesis, the Joker.
Holy musical Batman.
After their recent run-in, the Joker was last seen falling from the Greater Gotham Bridge.
Holy musical Batman.
Though his body has not yet been found, it is unlikely the Joker survived his latest encounter with the Batman.
Musical Batman.
This just in, Joker's body has been found at Gotham Pier. He is dead.
Batman.
Although the songs are upbeat and the aesthetic draws from the campier takes on Batman, the show parodies the entire Batman legacy, but takes special target at the more fascist-y Frank Miller Batman.
Please don't hurt me because I'm one of the hostages. Oh, God!
Look at those little wretched pinhead puppets of Gotham. They all look like bullseyes from up here.
You saved my life, Batman! Don't know how I can ever repay you!
Let my parents die, will you? Well, you're all criminals in my eyes. You just haven't committed any crimes. Yet, I'm the goddamn Batman!
Here we have a Batman who is completely oblivious to his privilege.
That'll teach you to dabble in crime once. Support your families like the rest of us. Be born billionaires.
Be a born billionaire and have your butler build a jet. That's the American way.
And a Batman with absolutely no leniency when it comes to what he perceives as crime.
That's a dollar bill. Well, I must have taken it from the register by accident. Should I return it now or in the morning? You know what? I'll just do it in the morning. That's just
Stop,
fine.
thief!
I went on, Batman.
It's such a perfect parody of maybe not any actual Batman story, but that larger cultural idea of Batman as a billionaire who just beats up criminals and sees criminals as criminals, not as like people who have gone wrong, but like there's citizens and then there's criminals. And it's worth spending your money on toys to help you beat criminals up instead of, you know, ways to help reform criminals and prevent the societal injustices that lead to criminals. And yes, I know there are Batman stories that actually address these things. It's not necessarily an authentic take on Batman that this is spoofing, but the cultural idea of Batman is it's just perfectly spoofed here.
I'll never walk again.
God's not up here, only Batman. The one thing that made me happy, the one thing that I liked, was being more powerful than everyone else. Soaring godlike in the sky, blasting laser-guided precision missiles, crippling misguided youngsters that I'd never met.
And Joe Walker's performance as this Batman is such a perfect mashup of Christian Bale's darkly dramatic gravelly voice with Adam West's deadpan overacting.
This world, it's rotten, Alfred. Rotten to the core. It's just full of people who kill your parents and fly faster than your plane.
But also just like the dancing is so goofy, and like the fact that the costume has sneakers, like that should not make me laugh as hard as it does, but I just love it. Look, it would be funny enough just juxtaposing the gritty Batman with elements of a lighthearted musical, But this goes the extra mile by really showcasing how emotionally stunted someone who had their childhood ripped from them might be.
Hey, that's a pretty nice plane you got over there.
Thanks, I built it myself.
You know, you should get it looked at, because it's not very fast.
Well, yes, of course. Of course it's not very fast. That's because it's my old plane.
Old plane?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Got another one?
Yeah. It's my new plane, and I don't bring it out during the day, so you'll probably never see it, but it is fast.
Really?
Uh-huh.
How fast?
Faster than you.
And Walker channels those stunted emotions into, well, childishness, which is hilarious when he's still doing the Bale voice.
You can't stay in your pillow fort and cry forever.
Yes, I can.
But I've got a surprise for you.
What kind of surprise?
A visitor.
I don't like visitors.
He's from the circus. You like the circus, don't you?
Yeah.
Plus, the show pokes fun at Batman fans.
The concept of a child crime fighter is ridiculous. It ruins the gritty realism of a man who fights crime dressed as a bat.
So say we all. Excelsior.
But in a way that is meant to remind the fans not to be so self-serious about the thing they love, to celebrate it, and to have the perspective to appreciate even the takes they don't love.
You know what? Some people think that Robin is stupid, but those people are pretentious douchebags. Because, literally, the only difference between me and Robin is our costumes.
Despite basing the parody off of a very reductive idea of Batman, this show is overflowing with love for Batman and for Robin and Superman and just superheroes in general.
We should work together more often. God, that would be cool. Imagine it. You, me, Robin, a couple other cool guys. We'd be like a league for justice.
And of course, Star Kid's legions of fans have kept the show's legacy alive, leading to at least one moment that went super viral as a TikTok sound years after the fact.
I want to be your friend forever. I want to be a modern dancer. What a super weird thing to say that came out of nowhere.
Catchy songs, colorful costumes, and good-natured ribbing, what more could you want? Number 4, Diedrich Bader. When the animated series Batman the Brave and the Bold began, the role of Batman was given to Diedrich Bader, even though before that he had more experience playing Robin.
Drew, please don't send us to prison.
And the choice of Diedrich Bader turned out to be inspired. He had voiceover experience, he has comedic chops, and that gravelly voice would be great for the Bat. Especially a slightly less serious Bat.
What is this now, the 5th or 6th death trap I've been tied up to because of you over the years?
Yeah, I said I was sorry.
Brave and the Bold was an animated throwback to the Silver Age, casting a light on some forgotten villains, and letting Batman team up with all manner of other heroes, from the goofy to the serious.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
The show wholeheartedly embraces the ridiculousness of comic books.
All these creatures might be too over the top to be Batman villains.
I really don't see how.
And it was filled with some hilarious side characters, notably a fantastic take on Aquaman.
Batman, old chum. Aquaman, what is it? I need to be rescued from this blasted vacation.
Aquaman was voiced by John DiMaggio, using a very similar voice to the one he used as another superhero parody character.
No malice can evade their sight. No crime escapes their ears. They hear, they see, they report to me. Captain Laserbeam's Adventureketeers!
Captain Laserbeam!
A superhero parody character who, funny enough, often teams up with a mashup of Batman and Aquaman.
I am the hero the ocean deserves. I am your semi-amphibious knight. I am Philip Fathom, the deep sea detective.
The show's not pure comedy 100% of the time, but even the show's most serious episode can't resist just a bit of meta humor in the guest cast.
Oh, Martha, let him play.
Thomas Wayne, when he has nightmares tonight, you can be the one to calm him down.
And so an ordinary mortal conquered tragedy and became the greatest champion for the cause of justice.
Justice. What is justice without vengeance, Phantom Stranger?
And the show has no shortage of purely comedic episodes too, such as the one where they recreate a Mad Magazine Batman parody, visit a manga universe, and do a new episode of new Scooby-Doo movies with Batman and Weird Al. Bader doesn't play any of the Batman variants in that episode, but I still have to shout it out.
My good friend millionaire Bruce Wayne is a big polka fan. I'm reasonably sure he'd match your contribution, Al.
That's wonderful, Batman. Done.
And it's kind of funny in retrospect that this show beat the movies to doing Batman vs. Superman.
I'm not your enemy, Superman.
All who oppose me are my enemies.
Look at yourself. What would Ma Kent think?
Ma? How dare you?
Okay, now here comes the twist. I enjoy the show a lot and felt it was worth mentioning on this list, but I don't really see Batman himself as a comedic character in it. He provides some humor due to his dry wit and his occasional difficulty playing well with others, but he's honestly more of a grounding presence in the show, more of like the only serious character in this mixed up universe.
Great. I get to deal with this now.
When this show is funny, most of the comedy comes from the situations and the other over-the-top characters. Batman himself isn't really laugh-a-minute here, so while Brave and the Bold might be one of my favorite frequently funny Batman shows, this portrayal of Batman himself is not actually one of my favorite comedic versions of the character. But the other cartoon Batman voiced by Diedrich Bader...
Joke's on you, Joker.
Jesus, this guy.
The Harley Quinn animated series might be the most cynical take on Gotham City yet, and it might also be one of the funniest. It's got it all. A borderline corrupt, washed-up Jim Gordon played by Christopher Maloney, a brilliant ensemble of comic book villains played by some of the funniest people alive from Ron Funches to Andy Daly, and of course, the return of Diedrich Bader as Batman.
Oh, ain't he cute when he's escaping?
No.
Seeing as this show is from the perspective of villains, and most of the conflict is between them and other villains, Batman is only a supporting character on this show, only appearing in 11 out of the 26 episodes so far.
Why would I watch a show that's set in Gotham City, but Batman's barely in it?
You watched all 5 seasons of Gotham.
And it honestly would have been easy for the show to decide that Batman would just barely be a presence at all, just be an imposing figure who shows up from time to time to strike fear into the hearts of our cowardly, superstitious protagonists. But the show still allows Batman to be his own character, who's just as funny as the rest of the cast.
Damien, I made your favorite.
You didn't make that. Alfred made that.
I made him make it.
This show reveals Batman's stoic demeanor as an image he is actively trying to cultivate. But sometimes the cracks start to slip, especially as he gets more and more annoyed by his foes.
And as sure as I am that he fucks bats,
okay.
I know my man will break me out of Arkham.
Or worst of all, more and more annoyed by his friends.
One nest of parademons coming right up!
Okay, that wasn't anybody. Jim, what's wrong?
It's Barb. You know, she's sleeping with someone else, and the worst part, I can't blame her. I mean, a woman can only go so long watching the dead eyes of her lover thrust atop her before she looks for something new.
The signal is for emergencies.
Well,
emergencies. You've abused it.
He's still intimidating when on the job, but this is another take that plays with how emotionally stunted Batman really is.
Not good at emotion.
Or vocabulary.
Especially when all his power is stripped from him.
I've made you a cup of honey tea and pigs in blankets.
I don't want pigs in a blanket. I want to fight crime. I will take that honey tea. This sorority girl can't run around wearing the bat symbol. It's going to make people think I'm back.
So your quibble is with the unsanctioned use of your logo, sir?
Hey, it's not a logo. It's a symbol.
He's still got that great Diedrich Bader deadpan, but now it's channeled more into Batman's frustrations with everyone around him, and my god, it's hilarious. And of course, this show really highlights Batman's complete refusal to show any vulnerability. No matter how easily vulnerability may slip through the cracks sometimes.
I don't know what he wants from me. We're co-workers. My screensaver just kicked in, didn't it?
And the other characters frequently get the joke on Batman too. This is definitely one of those Bruce Waynes who doesn't slide for being a good billionaire.
Now I know Batman is just some boring rich asshole with parental issues.
That's really reductive.
You know how funny this Batman is? He is so funny that a joke the show isn't even going to be allowed to use still made Twitter actually funny for a day. Batman is still not the funniest part of this show, but he is one of the very many hilarious elements that make this show delightful. Gory and vulgar as all get out, but delightful.
When can I start having sex?
I think I hear the bat signal.
Number 3, Bobby Moynihan on Comedy Bang Bang. Comedy Batman on Comedy Bang Bang, Comedy Batman on Comedy Bang Bang, Comedy Batman on Comedy Bang Bang, Comedy Batman on Comedy Bang Bang. Saturday Night Live alum Bobby Moynihan has made many appearances on Scott Aukerman's Comedy Bang Bang podcast and TV series, usually playing the violent orphan Forval.
Let's stamp Scott! Formal, put it away!
No. Sorry, Brie Larson. My apologies. I did not mean to take the cleaver out in front of such a nice lady.
Wow.
That's a compliment.
In the podcast's Time Bobby saga, Moynihan plays Forval opposite the funniest man alive, Paul F. Tompkins as Andrew Lloyd Webber, and it gets wild.
We should reach for these knives before he does, so that way we have at least like a half second before he...
I say, should we have a code word?
Yeah. What should the code word be? A knife?
Knife grab.
Knife grab. How can we remember that?
You
there
remember
has to be some mnemonic.
Yes, a mnemonic device.
Well, K stands for kid.
Yes, he's a kid.
Yes, N stands for naughty. He's a naughty kid.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Kid,
I stands for I. I'm going to grab a knife.
Yes, I am the person.
F stands for friend. He's not our friend.
Friend.
Okay, and E stands for education, which is every child should have an education. So that'll be easy to
remember. Every good boy deserves fudge.
After a while, the dream team behind these episodes decided to take a break from the Forval-Weber storyline, but they wanted to keep the perfect comedic chemistry going with new characters.
Sir, who are you? What
I'm
are you
Slow
doing
Pesci.
What?
My name is Slow Pesci.
Slow
Did you
Pesci?
say Joe Pesci? No, shut the f*** up with that shit. No, I said Slow Pesci.
You must have
Slow
said...
Sif.
There's something wrong with my ears, obviously.
It sounded to me as if he said Slow Pesci.
He's obviously saying Joe Pesci.
He looks
Joseph
No,
Pesci.
he looks somewhat like Joe Pesci.
I know.
Are you a Joe Pesci impersonator?
No, I'm not. I could be, but I'm not. I should be, but I'm not. I am Slow Sif Pesci. Joe is my buddy.
And then in episode 578 of the podcast, PFT played his recurring character, Sugar Hill Gang reject Cal Solomon, and Bobby Moynihan showed up as...
Is this music that you had brought?
Is what?
Do you hear this?
Is that not you doing that?
That's not me doing that. Is that you doing that?
Where is she?
Who's this fellow?
Where is she?
Was someone just dropped into the room off of kind of a...
Look at that. He's terrifying.
Oh, my goodness.
He looks like... Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. He looks like some sort of
like a giant Fledermaus.
He looks like some sort of winged creature.
Yeah. If I were...
Not human. Certainly not human.
If I were cowardly or superstitious, I'd be terrified right now.
But you're neither.
No, I'm regular.
Excuse me.
Where is she?
Who is who?
Where's who, you inhuman creature?
I am no creature.
Hi, I'm Cal Solomon.
Hi, Cal. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Scott Aukerman of Comedy Bang Bang.
Scott, no, I'm aware. Big fan. Nice to
thank
meet
you so much.
Oh, that's nice to say that.
Are you an alien? What are you? You look like a Martian.
Who, me?
Are you from under the sea?
Who, me?
Are you Poseidon?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
I'm Batman.
Batman.
Badman?
Batman.
Badminton?
I'm Badminton.
Did you say you're badminton?
I am the creature who stalks the night. I'm Batman.
You stalk the night. That's a time of day.
Bobby's Batman is kind of a general take on Batman, drawing from the common denominators of all Batmen as needed. There are some specific shoutouts to specific bats, but Bobby blends them together into a single bat form.
Where is she?
Who, Rachel Dawes or Vicky Vale? We don't know.
Any woman.
Any woman?
Nancy O'Dell?
Nancy, where is Nancy O'Dell?
She's out furniture shopping, I think.
She is.
Look, you're here to save the world or a woman. I don't know what is. Oh my!
Here to save Nancy O'Dell from the RICO Act. I'm wearing a mask.
Do you mean
when I take the mask off? That's the real mask.
And who do you look like?
What? Sometimes I look like Val Kilmer.
Like if you were on Twitter,
I look like Adam West.
Okay.
Sometimes you look like Maurice.
But I always look like, do you know what I look like?
No,
in
what?
real life?
What do you look like?
Justice.
And the constant circle of yes-anding in the Bang Bang recording studio allows Bobby's Batman to add new elements to the Bat lore, ones you won't find in any movie or comic book. Unless Scott writes them into a comic book someday, which I guess is possible because after all, he did make Spider-Man's favorite TV show canonically, Comedy Bang Bang, but you're not likely to find these elements of the Bat lore in any movie or comic book.
You talk about Monk, and he's this great detective. He's just as good as you.
The Great Monk Detective.
Are you Monk?
I wish I was.
Why do you wish you were Monk?
Tony Shalhoub killed my parents.
What?
What?
This is a scoop.
What can I say? The Bat knows his improv.
His character is an alien in
Big Night.
In Big Night, and a monster in
Bonfink.
Bartonfink, yes.
I thought you said Bonfink of the Vanities.
Bonfink of the Vanities.
So
what about in
that was my first improv team.
You did improv?
I did improv for a little while.
What?
Who was in your improv team?
Oh, a lot of great people now. You know, a lot of people who are working now.
Oh, really? Like people
who?
you know from SNL and
Sure, yeah.
A lot of NBC comedies?
A lot of, yeah.
Although admittedly, the Bat's sleep schedule makes it a little difficult for him to focus sometimes.
Thank you very much, Batman.
Who me?
Yeah, you. Can I ask you, do you know anyone named Dick?
Who, me?
Yeah, you, Matthew. So now Batman.
Yes. Who, me?
Yes, you, Batman. You said yes first.
Did I?
Later on, in the 10-hour-long 10th anniversary episode of Comedy Bang Bang, Batman returned to face off against Moynihan's other violent orphan character.
Have you been looking for a suspect in any stabbing murders lately?
There's been some crime happening lately. Some small crime.
Small. When you say small crime, do you mean knee-high?
Knee-high crime. Happening in the streets.
What's been going on, Batman?
What's been happening? Thank you for asking. You're welcome. I need some water.
Yeah, go ahead. Drink some water, Batman.
Now, these are the only appearances of Bang Bang Batman so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up again in the future. Bobby's Batman is so funny, the mere thought of him caused one of the finest actors of our generation to break on Broadway.
So there's an outdoor scene in Network because we were using cameras on stage.
Sounds groundbreaking.
It was groundbreaking.
It really was. It was amazing.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We're on the street and we have this scene that's with me and Tony, Mr. Tony Goldwyn. We have this kiss outside, blah, 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 and then we come into the theater and it's this one big tracking shot. A Batman impersonator walked by and the thing that went through my head was, who, me?
Who, me? From a previous episode of Comedy Bang Bang.
Bobby Moynihan as Batman.
And you told me you just burst out laughing during the scene.
I was laughing in Tony's mouth as we were kissing.
So now you know, if at any point we hear She-Hulk say, who, me? It's a Batman reference that will stump even your most knowledgeable comic book scholar friend. Number 2, Will Arnett as Lego Batman. It's a cliche at this point to say that the Lego movie was way better than anyone expected it to be, or at least anyone who wasn't closely monitoring Lord & Miller's career expected it to be, and one of the many elements that worked so well was Arnett as Batman.
Emmett, this is my boyfriend, Batman.
I'm Batman.
That's your boyfriend?
What could possibly be worse than finding out not only that the girl you're interested in has a boyfriend, but her boyfriend is freaking Batman? The coolest rebel you know! He's so serious and brooding. He's way too cool. She can never be interested in you.
You guys gotta check out these new subwoofers I installed in the back. I call them the dogs. Listen to them bark!
Fortunately for Emmett, this Batman turns out to be kind of a douchebag. Not an aggressively abusive douchebag, but a little bit of a douchebag. A charming, hilarious douchebag, but, like, not nearly as cool as he thinks he is.
Pow. Wham. Kazap.
Lego Batman is an arrogant, self-centered, angsty teenager. It's a perfect execution of this movie's childlike view of the world.
If anybody has black parts, I need them, okay? I only work in black. And sometimes very, very dark gray.
This Batman is exactly what a little kid thinks is dark and cool and grown up. By, exaggerating the elements that some actual Batman fans think make Batman dark and cool, but they're really just masks for loneliness, depression, and a fear of making connections.
Babe, look. If this relationship is ever gonna work between us, I need to feel free to party with a bunch of strangers whenever I feel like it.
What?
Then when Lucy and Batman go their separate ways, Batman bounces back with his own spin-off movie where he's happy to be alone. Or at least he thinks he is.
Love it.
In the marketing for this movie, the tagline used that "always be yourself, unless you can be Batman" meme, indicating that this movie would show just how cool it is to be Batman. And then the movie itself showed just how much it actually sucks to be Batman.
Thank me later, but I just happen to be in the hood, and I figured that you could probably use the company.
Sure, he's rich, but he's a lonely loser whose super friends don't actually like him, and who keeps everyone at a bad arm's length due to a fear of forming a new family because he's afraid if he forms a new family, he'll just end up losing them again. What a depressing life.
Wow! If I had a nickel for every time...
An animated universe featured Will Arnett as a depressed famous millionaire and Alison Brie as a kid using buzzwords to play grown-up.
I like business. Transactions? Business. Numbers?
I'd have 2 nickels.
Of course, everything changes when Will Arnett accidentally adopts his TV nephew, who is really playing against type here.
Hey, orphan, look who's here!
Have you ever heard Michael Cera sound so unnervous? Like, it really sounds like he's smiling through the entire record. I can't even picture him holding a smile that long.
Wow, stairs.
Actually, the story of the Lego Batman movie bears a lot of resemblance to the story of Holy Musical Batman. They both involve Batman adopting Robin and learning to overcome his stunted emotions and fear of making new connections by embracing friendship and a new family, with more than a little guidance from Alfred, while the Rogues Gallery is restructuring as they reassess their strategy for how they take him down.
I wanna be your friend forever. I wanna play Nintendo. Who needs Nintendo when you got a friend? Go! My best friend, and friends are family.
And beyond the structural similarities, there are a couple of very similar jokes in both parodies.
My name's Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick.
Well, children can be cruel.
Yeah.
They call me Dick.
Does that hurt your feelings?
No, because it's my name.
Wait, does Batman live in Bruce Wayne's basement?
No, Bruce Wayne lives in Batman's attic.
Batman, what it is.
Oh, wow. Where are we headed?
Wayne Manor.
Huh. I wonder if Bruce Wayne knows that Batman lives under his house.
Just to be clear, I am not accusing the Lego Batman filmmakers of plagiarism or anything. This is probably parallel thinking. If you were going to brainstorm a bunch of Batman jokes, you would probably come up with some very similar ones to these. And there are plenty of other ways that this movie was ahead of the curve. This was the first movie to cast Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and it was the first to associate Joker with a Hangover alum.
Probably worth the Google.
But, this one had the Hangover alum who's not too much of a coward to still make funny movies.
Blink, blink, blink. Blinkity, blink, blink, blink.
This movie also came before both the aforementioned Harley Quinn animated series and the live-action Birds of Prey movie, both of which are brilliant comedies about Harley getting over her toxic relationship with the Joker. So it's kind of funny seeing how this universe's Harley and Joker actually seem to have a healthy and supportive relationship.
Joker, do you read me?
10-4, girl buddy.
We're ready for you, Sugar Plum.
Well then, let's raise the roof.
If anyone's getting over a toxic ex in this movie, it is the Joker, and that ex is Batman.
See? Superman gets it. Why can't Batman?
Boo-boo, look at me.
You're too good for Batman. He needs to open his eyes and see what it feels like when you're not around, okay?
Well, okay, I guess the other non-Harley villains are getting over their toxic relationship with the Joker. It's complicated, but, there's only so much you can do in a kid-friendly version of the story.
Joker may be done with us, but we're not done with him.
We will be the Joker's reckoning!
And Batman is the one who has to learn to be a better person and heal his relationships with his friends and his foes. It's basically the kid-friendly comedic tale of how the cool, rich, lonely loser opens up and becomes the Bat Dad of the Bat family. It's the transition between the two extremes of the Batman mythos, and it's played brilliantly.
I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I hate you, Joker.
I hate you too.
I hate you more.
I hate you the most.
I hate you forever.
I think the Lego Batman movie is the ultimate Batman parody. It deconstructs everything ridiculous about the Batman lore, it picks apart everything that can suck about the character of Batman, at least when he's written poorly, and then it bounces right back and celebrates everything that can make Batman fun.
Come on, Commish, let's face it. Those guys are no match for the four of us. We'll give them a 30-minute head start.
And Will Arnett apparently enjoyed this role so much that he not only attached himself to another Lego project, he attached himself to another animated DC spoof. Will Arnett, the patron saint of DC comedy, apparently. And the #1 comedic portrayal of Batman. Oh, come on, do I even need to say it? We all know there's only one answer.
Pure West.
Adam West in the original Batman TV series from 1966. Look, there's a reason that most of the other Batmen on this list had to reference this one at least once or twice.
Alfred, what are you doing?
I missed the 60s.
This show looms so large in the Batman mythos that it's unignorable. Almost every Batman to come since the show has set its tone at least partially in response to this show, either by trying to go in the opposite direction or by trying to recapture its magic, sometimes with mixed results.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
I love this show. I had the VHS of a movie as a kid and I watched it incessantly. Adam West was my Batman, and he still is. The man's deadpan delivery of the absurd comic book logic of his world, the grave seriousness with which he treats the silliest nonsense, it's completely unassailable.
Yes, it's very possible Mr. Freeze has started another cold wave of terror.
Robin, since when do we make public accusations without strong, solid proof? Robin's indiscreet statement is strictly off the record.
Not off my record, Batman.
I'm sorry, Miss Majors. I certainly wasn't suggesting what your paper should or should not print.
I feel like there was a misconception among young people for a long time that this show was accidentally corny, that it's something to be mocked.
There's nothing harmless about the Joker, we all know that.
Yeah, of course, anyone who actually watches the show can tell that the humor and absurdity is 100% deliberate. It's obvious from the jump. This show hit the ground running with over-the-top nonsense that couldn't be anything but farce. The very first week was about Riddler tricking Batman into arresting him under false pretenses so he could sue Batman. That's not something they built to. That ridiculously convoluted plan is how the series starts. Not trying to kill Batman right away, not like just robbing a bank and fighting Batman, but just trying to get Batman entangled in a frivolous lawsuit.
See you in court?
Oh, it gets better. The second week was about Penguin running out of ideas for a good caper, so he leaves a bunch of fake clues around Gotham City so Batman could quote-unquote solve them and figure out Penguin's plan. Then Penguin could steal the idea from Batman. It's like crime's only worth doing for Penguin if he's committed to his role as a master criminal. He's not just gonna rob a bank, he needs to do something so big that only Batman can think of it.
Batman's not only going to pick my crime, he is going to provide me with a blueprint as to how I should pull it off.
Penguin, are you sure you haven't gone stir crazy?
But now that the show is more widely available, it's better understood among young people that this show is a farce, a deliberate comedy, and everything you think you're making fun of in it is actually a joke the show itself is making. And more often than not, the joke it's making is much funnier than the joke you're making about it. Everyone remembers the shark repellent gag from the movie. It's probably the joke most remembered and most referenced by other comedic takes on Batman. But I feel like some people referencing the shark repellent lose sight of the fact that it's just one of several Ocean Life specific bat sprays, and they're on the Bat Copter. Not the Bat Boat, which is also in this movie, they're on the Bat Copter. We are to believe that this Batman is so absurdly prepared for any situation that he's ready to fight off any form of ocean life in the sky. And they didn't just add them to the copter at the last minute because they knew their target was a yacht. The Batcopter was at the airport, ready to go, with ocean life repellent sprays at the ready, already, just in case at some point in the future, Batman happened to take the helicopter near water. That is so much funnier than any joke that has ever made fun of this show. Now, of course, there are plenty of people who do understand this show and still don't enjoy it, and you know, fair enough. It was arguably a lack of respect for the source material that drove William Dozier to make this show a comedy.
I was a little taken aback because I had never had a Batman comic book in my hands. I, of course, was aware that there was such a thing, but I'd never read one. So then after a day or so, the fairly obvious idea, it seems obvious now at least, to make it so square and so serious and so cliche-ridden and so overdone, and yet do it with a certain elegance and style that it would be funny, that it would be so corny and so bad that it would be funny.
And if you like Batman as a serious character, you might not be thrilled that the longtime most prominent take on Batman doesn't take him even remotely seriously. And you know what? Fair enough. It's possible that the only reason I enjoy the show so much is that this was my first Batman, so I didn't have attachment to the source material beforehand. But just knowing me and how much I appreciate a good laugh, I feel like even if I did like serious Batman before this show came out, this show is so funny that I would still enjoy it anyway, no matter how I felt about the source material. This show did not invent the idea of sneaking in jokes for the parents that fly over the kids' heads. Rocky and Bullwinkle had only wrapped up a few years earlier, and hell, Looney Tunes was doing it for decades. But this show might have perfected it by making the things that are hilarious to the parents the very same things that are exciting to the children.
One of my favorite critics, the reviewer, said that in the middle of the show, his 11-year-old boy said, "Daddy, stop laughing. This is serious."
Every ridiculous trap that the hammy villains played by megastar celebrity guests would catch Batman and Robin in could fill kids with genuine suspense while their parents laughed their asses off at the absurdity. Every overly specific bat gadget, every illogical riddle, every gorgeous woman who even passes through Gotham just falling madly in love with a man whose face she can barely even see. All this stuff made Batman cool to the kids and hilarious to the grown-ups. Oh, how do I know? I know because I was one of those young children who thought this Batman was the coolest Batman. And to make sure the parents would be happy, this show goes out of its way to make this Batman the most positive role model for youngsters imaginable. So kids who want to grow up to be like Batman would always know to do the right thing.
Watch it, chump. Pedestrian safety.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
And parents could once again be genuinely happy their kids are learning these lessons while still laughing at just how over-the-top and heavy-handed the execution of these lessons would be.
Robin, you haven't fastened your safety bat belt.
We're only going a couple of blocks.
It won't be long until you're old enough to get a driver's license, Robin. Then you'll be able to drive the Batmobile and other vehicles. Remember, motorist safety.
Gosh, Batman, when you put it that way.
I love it. It makes the morals shoehorned into the Weird Al show look subtle. Admittedly, not every one of these morals for kids has exactly held up.
Support your police. That's our message.
Well said, Robin.
I mean, yes, the show does depict the police as completely incompetent, but turns out depicting them as well-meaning is the most ridiculous part of this show. Lego Batman may be the ultimate Batman parody, but Adam West is the ultimate Batman, period. This show eclipsed the comic books it was spoofing to become the definitive cultural conception of the Bat. And honestly, the show was so popular that it revived interest in the comics. It is entirely possible that without this show, we would not know Batman today. He might have fallen into obscurity like so many other short-lived comic characters had this show not made him the most popular hero on TV. And that's why I think fans of Batman, even fans mostly of darker Batman stories, should appreciate the show's existence, even though I totally understand why they might resent this show. I mean, I'd be grumpy too if most of the world only knew of Tolkien through this scene.
Where there's a whip, we don't wanna go to war today.
No, who am I kidding? No, I wouldn't. That would be awesome. But the fact remains, I understand why someone who likes Batman as a serious character would resent the fact that because of the show, the world sees Batman as a joke. I'm sorry you can't appreciate the joke the way I do, but I hope you can appreciate that because of this show, the world knows Batman at all. So when Tim Burton's Batman was in development, fans of the comic were devastated that Michael Keaton was going to play the role. A comedian as Batman, have they learned nothing? Fans of the comics didn't want the movie to just be the TV show again, full of winks and nods, and then of course the movie came out, and well, as history has proven, the movie did have a wink and nod to the TV show. Jack Napier, named after Alan Napier, who had passed away shortly before filming. Hey, they almost went way less subtle with it. The filmmakers even considered casting West and Julie Newmar as Thomas and Martha, but they decided against it, probably for the best, because fans of the show wouldn't like seeing them get shot, and people who weren't fans of the show wouldn't like seeing them, period. But hey, that meant that Brave and the Bold episode was free to do that years later. But overall, Burton's movie was, of course, the dark and gritty Batman, until all those darker and grittier ones in the decades to follow. The fans rejoiced. Batman was saved until it wasn't.
Ice Age!
But the TV show looms so large in Batman history that every new Batman movie and series owes its existence on some level to the show, but it also has to react to the tone of the show, either by trying to match it or by trying to go against it.
I'm vengeance.
Whether comedic or serious, every single Batman put to film since the 60s is at least in part a reaction to Adam West. Fortunately, before his passing, Adam got to react to the reactions with a chance to parody the Batmen that came after him.
We run away to Europe together, sip tea in a cafe, and live happily ever after.
Wholly unsatisfying ending.
That's right, there was a reunion movie. Actually, there were multiple reunion movies. This one we may unpack another time, but for the purposes of this discussion, we're talking about this reunion movie, Return of the Caped Crusaders, which reunited the voices of Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar with the best sound-alikes they could get for the rest of the cast. And in some cases, the sound-alikes are arguably bigger names than the original actors they're subbing for.
It's the bat signal, sir. I can't come up with anything either, Batman.
The movie recreates the aesthetic of the 1966 series in animation as best they can, but it gives it a story that, without spoiling any details, leads the sweet, lovable 66 Batman to embody the more fascist-y, gritty Batman. But it's still filtered through that Adam West lens, and it's kind of great to see the goodiest of goody two-shoes version of Batman become his version of the joyless tyrant.
Mr. Mayor, the city no longer requires your ineffective management. You're relieved from office.
But hey, he finally made a point of holding the police accountable. You know, in that G-rated storybook way.
Watching television while on the job?
I certainly don't condone that, Commissioner.
Oh, of course, Batman. So sorry. We were just,
It's not me you need to apologize to. It's the law-abiding taxpayers of Gotham City.
Everyone has their own opinions on which Batmen are best, and yes, I have enjoyed my fair share of serious Batman movies too, but Adam West will always be my Batman. When I was a kid, I thought he was the best because he was so cool, and now that I'm grown, I think he's the best because he's so funny. And yeah, not everybody agrees. In fact, not everybody agrees on every Batman. Even the serious Batman, there's plenty of debate among the serious Batman fans which one is the best. But there is one Batman that most of the fans do agree on, And I think he put it best when talking about Adam West.
You know, as a kid, I used to watch it with my father. The Grey Ghost was my hero.
Really?
And he still is.
And those are my favorite comedic Caped Crusaders. But what about you? Who is your favorite funny Batman? Or do you only like the serious Batmen? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave signing off, old chums. See you again, same Doggins time, same Doggins channel.